Holy cow, guys. Okay, so I already had like a video ready to go for today, but then Saber went and just dropped this massive update to Space Marine 2, and it's changing a lot of things already. I got in, I played a quick match, made substantial Vox Liberatus operation here, which is what you'll see in the background, and it's night and day. I want you guys just to notice how much of a cakewalk this operation looks like it is now in Substantial. When this was one of the operations that people would actively avoid because of the enemy density of all these flamethrowers, these shielded Zangors just bum rushing you, and it was something like usually you'd go into a lobby that was pre-made, you know, just to farm Ruthless or Substantial because you need your armory data, and people would actively avoid those. In fact, if you queued up one of them, someone would likely leave the fire team. So let's talk about what changed and why it's so different. There's actually a ton to go over here, so I'm going to try and hit the highlights, but then zero in on the things that I think are really, really important. So a couple of quick highlights. We got like a new hub sparring arena. So if you're not in campaign mode, you're there on the battle barge, you can actually spar against anyone who's in your fire team if you want to. That's kind of neat. We've got ultra-wide support. We've got private operations lobbies, which is great if you just wanted to play with one buddy and like not have it fill, because then that can bog down like load times, or maybe you just are feeling antisocial, or maybe you want to challenge yourself and do a solo run and you don't want it to fill teammates in for you. Hey, you can do that now. You just set the lobby to private. There's a lot of like UI updates as well. For example, in the background, you might not be able to pick up on this because the audio's turned down a little bit. But anytime there's now a enemy wave or a massive enemy wave, there's actually sort of like this siren that goes off to sort of let you know, hey guys, there's like a big wave inbound right now. So it's just simple stuff like that that's changed a little bit. And you might even notice the priority threat on the top of your screen has now changed a little bit as well. So instead of just showing you the biggest guy on the field, instead of just saying Majoris, it'll say Majoris and Minoris. It'll show you like the full pecking order up there, which is kind of cool. In terms of gameplay balancing, they made some changes to the pinging system. They made some changes to the Power Fist. So the Power Fist does, like they said, significantly more damage from charged attacks. We actually just did a video on the Power Fist this week and said that it's very lackluster. So I am very glad that they changed that. These charged up power attacks, they're not going to change how good it is at crowd control, because it's really bad at that, and doing more damage with your charged attacks isn't going to change that. The problem was that it wasn't hitting a wide enough radius of enemies with these wave attacks. But this is going to make it much more viable against Majoris level enemies and Terminus, etc. So that we'll have to play around with that, see how that goes. The heavy plasma, weapon for the heavy class was getting, completely ignored. So they buffed that considerably. More base ammo. They decreased the overheat per charge shot and per shot in general. A whole lot of tuning to that just to make it a lot more ammo efficient. Med stims now restore contested health as well as actual healing. A big nerf that came to the tactical specifically was that the auxiliary grenade launcher, the underbarrel grenade launcher, got just massively nerfed into the ground. Like maybe even more nerfed than it ought to have been. Like, sure, it was pretty crazy. You could spam it infinitely, just replenish your ammo on Majoris kills. They made it now so that not only do you not get ammo from your Majoris kills, you also don't get ammo for the grenade launcher from the infinite ammo caches either. You have to pick up specifically those little green ammo boxes that you find around the map when you're breaking crates and stuff like that. That's the only way to get more underbarrel grenade launcher ammo. That's crazy. They're not even giving it to you from the crate, which I think is freaking wild. So anyways, we'll see how that goes. I think that's maybe they took too big of a swing at it. I think just making it not proc on the Majoris kills would have been a huge decrease to its uptime already. But we'll see how that goes. Outside of that, we've got some huge changes in operations, and that's what I really want to focus on here for a minute. And they nerfed chaos enemies into the ground. It's wild. So max number of Zangors with shields on the arena at the same time was reduced from 10 to 4. That's huge. So it used to be you could have, up to 10 Zangors with those shields, and that's like one of the biggest things people complain about with these Chaos missions is that you just can't kill these guys with the shields. It's too hard to shoot over the shield. You might look like your reticle's on the head. It just gets absorbed by the shield, etc. You have to do these heavy attacks to knock them back and do gun strikes. It's a pain to deal with them. So they reduced the maximum number of these guys that could be on the field at the same time from 10 to 4, which is, I mean, that's a huge decrease. Huge. It's more than 50%. It's 60% decrease. On top of that, maximum number of cultist snipers on the arena at the same time reduced from 10 to 3. 70% decrease. So the number of these guys, you know, you're trying to duel the Majoris. You see like 3 or 4 different blue lasers from these guys off in the wings who have their sniper rifles trained on you, and it's aggravating because you have such small damage windows on these Majoris level enemies in the Chaos factions, because they just teleport away, and then half the time you're not even able to take full advantage of the damage windows you get on them because you have to dodge all these snipers that are trained on you. Well, now there are considerably fewer snipers on the field, down from 10 maximum to 3 maximum. That's crazy. Max number of Zangors on the arena at the same time in general reduced from 30 to 20. So your mob sizes just took incredibly huge hits. So one of the things you might notice in the background gameplay here on Vox Liberatus is once we get through the Tyranid enemies, we start facing the Chaos enemies. There's just so many fewer of them. Like, it was so easy to manage the mobs now. Maybe even too easy. I don't know. They also reduced the number of Rubric Marines with bolt guns in the Chaos faction from 8 to 5. Maximum number of the Warp Flamers, these guys are a pain in the keister, down from 4 to 3. So you're basically every single encounter you have with Chaos enemies has now, I mean, you're looking at roughly 40 to 50% fewer enemies on the field at a time altogether. So they just cut the ad density in half. And you would almost assume just by looking at the gameplay in the background, it felt like I was playing on average. It did not feel like I was playing on substantial, just random matchmaking. Even one of our guys dipped at one point and we had a bot for a while. It just felt like a cakewalk. It was a breeze. But on top of that, like, every melee class just got a huge buff as well, because they updated it so that the perfect parry now will restore armor for killing Minoris level enemies. And outside of just when you get that blue ring, obviously when you do a perfect parry when you see the blue ring to indicate you can block that attack, that gives you a armor charge. But now just in general, if a random Minoris enemy jumps at you and you parry it, and their parry windows on Minoris level enemies are extremely generous, you get armor back for that. I mean, Assault just got a huge buff, right? The Assault class in particular struggled with getting health back mid-duel. And now, I mean, you start getting overwhelmed. All you got to do is start spamming the parry button when you're surrounded by Minoris level enemies. You're going to start getting armor charges really quickly. So that's crazy. But they also sort of, on the flip side of that... Oh, real quick, talking about the Assault class, they also increased the damage of ground pound by 30% at base. So another buff to the Assault class there. Just one little quick thing. Which feels almost like a, hey, we got more tuning coming for the Assault class, but this is just one small thing we can throw at you right now. But they also decided to reduce the number of armor boost pickups on the field, so they're less common now, and the cooldown on when they can spawn was raised from 30 seconds in between spawns to a maximum of a minute, minimum of 1 full minute. Crazy stuff, guys. Holy cow, like... half of the operations people were avoiding like the plague. Now, I gotta tell you, my first impressions are that they feel dramatically easier, which is not surprising considering just how much they reduced the maximum number of combatants of each type at a time. It's crazy. So I think that you're gonna start seeing a lot more people running, like Vox Liberatus, Fall of Atreus, etc. I think that these things just, in Reliquary even, I think they just got considerably easier. So we'll see how that changes the the dynamic here, and especially with these people who like to farm Ruthless, and all they do is just friggin' run Inferno over and over and over and over, or Ballistic Engine over and over and over. Now, thank God, I think this is gonna make it feel like there's a lot more to do in the game when you get to the high levels, because now we can actually get teams together that are willing to play the Chaos missions. So I'm glad for that, because those other ones do get repetitive. I think Tyranid enemies are really fun to fight, but maybe now we'll get more time playing on the other ones. I don't know. It also feels to me, I'd be willing to say maybe they over-nerfed Chaos. Like, Chaos was obviously more challenging than Tyranids. I think there's no doubt. I think objectively you just have to say, well, yeah, absolutely. but almost feels too easy now. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Let me know in the comments section what you're thinking so far, if you've played any of the operations, or even just if you haven't played them yet, haven't gotten home, haven't installed the update, haven't played yet. Just looking at the gameplay in the background, what do you think about all this? What do you think of the auxiliary grenade launcher nerf? What do you think of the heavy plasma, the power fist buffs? Let me know what you're thinking about all this, and how you think it's going to affect the way that the game is played long term. Thanks so much for watching the video and for the massive support on the channel. We have now over 3,000 new subscribers to the channel since we started covering Space Marine 2, and I really appreciate your support. It's huge. I love it. I appreciate it. Also, if you're looking to farm, we have a Discord community that's now over 70 people that is constantly farming this game, getting groups together on the fly, posting their codes in our private Discord. If that sounds like the kind of thing you want to get involved in, you'd be more than welcome to do so. There's a link in the description and the pinned comment to our Patreon page. And if you follow that link and just click on that dirt cheap $3 option, that tier gives you access to the Discord. And all you have to do is just link your Discord account to the Patreon account. Very easy thing to do. You just open up your profile settings and link it says link other accounts. Yes, I'd like to do that. Click on Discord. No problem. Easy peasy. That will sync the two up. It will give you access to the rooms in our Discord for Space Marine 2. If you have trouble with doing that, let me know. DM me on Patreon and we can do it manually. But it will make it much more easy for you if you sync the two things. But worst case scenario, just let me know. We'll take care of it manually as well. Thank you so much for your support. Thanks for watching the video. Be warm and well fed. Courage and honor. Bye-bye.